Now, if I change the proton count, now I've got a different element. I can change the neutron count and not change the element, right? It'll still be hydrogen. I don't care if there's 107 neutrons and 1 proton. It's still hydrogen. But if I add another proton, now I've got helium, right? If I add still another proton, I've got lithium, and then so on and so forth, okay? If I want carbon, I have to have 6 protons. If I want oxygen, I have to have 8 protons. You see how this works? And then usually, they're like members of the family. We can have different forms, or what we call different isotopes of these elements, and they'll all support so many isotopes. So now, the question became, what can I do with the proton? Well, it turns out, I'm going to make this probably oversimplified. I usually have to do that, but the proton is kind of like a capacitor. It can be charged, okay? And we can put a certain type of energy into the proton and charge it. And how do we do that? Well, we don't want to work with the photon. That's not going to work because it'll only interact with the electrons. What we're going to do is every particle we've ever found so far, even the particles that don't have any charge at all, have 0 charge, have an antimatter version. Did you know that? Everything has an antimatter version, and the photon has an antiphoton version. If I could harness and direct and put to work the antiphoton, I could make a change in the charge. I could be working with a positive charge, but in order to do that, I first of all had to work with something that was negative in time. And the only thing that's negative in time I know of that will interact with the proton is the antiphoton. So I learned how to harness and put to work the antiphoton. So I have the equivalent of a laser that runs a particle wave backwards in time. It's purely antiphoton energy. Now I'm presently working on harnessing and putting to work 2 versions of antiquarks. It would be the antiquark equivalent of the one called charm, and the antiquark equivalent of the one called top. There are 6 quarks: top, bottom, up, down, strange, charm. I think I know how to make those antiquarks interact with mesons. Okay, we're going to do some really interesting work with mesons, but that's just coming here in the future. And I've got some crazy ideas. I think I know how to take inert gases and actually get them to combine with oxygen and form new liquids the universe has never seen. Liquids with amazing properties. And they'll all be like helium. When they go to absolute 0, there is no solid state for them. There's still too much motion in the particles. That's what the deal is with helium. You can take helium to absolute 0. Nope. Can't get it to solidify. Too much motion. Too much motion. Okay, so it won't go into some type of crystalline lattice. Now, with this simple algebraic operation, this crazy idea, I found protomatter. It came from very, very deep in the crust, in fact, probably from the top of the mantle. My partner and I figured out there will never be a shortage of oil, ever, in eternity. It's always being made. It's being made from energy and water, just like the gold nuggets are. In fact, precious metals are always going to be made. In fact, that means I'm going to blow probably one of your most preciously held paradigms. There is no such thing as a non-renewable resource. That's baloney. This planet was made to produce forever. It's an energy mechanism. And it'll produce these things for eternity, as long as it's here. Yes?
Although you can use it faster than it's being produced.
That's it. You can use it up faster than it can be reproduced or replaced. Replacement is the key. But you see, economics drives that problem, doesn't it? Yeah, greed drives that problem. But that's not a fault with the planet. That's a fault in us. Okay, now, after that he said, you know what? If the body needs isotope 125 of indium, What else does it need? They got to looking into it, and all the mineral supplements you buy in the health food store are absolutely wrong. Your body can't even begin to utilize those minerals. They're not the right isotope. They're the wrong form of that element. The correct form is an unstable isotope. And the correct state is not in the atomic or molecular state. The correct state is as energy in water. The world's ultimate mineral supplement is sitting right here in front of you tonight in this bottle. There's about 42 to 43 elements from the periodic table in here as their mathematical analog. It does a beautiful job of mineralizing the body. Cells, ask a biochemist. A cell has no provision for dealing with minerals in a solid state. They're just more garbage and debris. Why would a cell take something that's bigger than a nanometer when it can't get it through the receptor site anyway, because no receptor site is bigger than a nanometer? How is it going to get it inside the cell? And if it did, what's it going to do with it? What is it going to attach it to? What's it going to fix it to? Yes? See, I speak from experience. When I go out in front of a group of people, I've had cancer twice, and one of them was incurable. It was pancreatic.
Yourself?
Yes. Gone in just about 3 weeks. And that was over 15 years ago. I never had a problem since then. I had a brain tumor. I was going blind in one eye. The tumor was wrapped around the optic nerve, the back. Got rid of it. Went to a doctor in California that had an amazing laser made in Geneva, Switzerland called the 632 soft laser. What made that tumor release from my optic nerve? Frequency. It was an orange laser. Frequency.